So today we're going to be talking about kind of, I guess, the new angle that we want to be looking at for this new year, which is going after the bigger levers to pull. Now, obviously, we're still going to be talking about algorithm stuff. We're still going to be talking about all the tactics. That's not going away. That won't ever go away. However, we wanted to shoot this video as kind of a beginning of the new year to focus more on the creative and the marketing side of it. So offers, creative, more around sort of the human psychology of it versus just the algorithm per se. Now, knowing us, we'll probably still go into the algorithm a little bit. But with that being said, yeah, let's jump into some creative.
Let's do it. You know what sucks is I'm trying to build my report, but for some reason my report is broken too. What the heck? I go into my gross profit by product and it says there's just no data for this section. I'm like, what?
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah, I have apparently I didn't make one sale in this entire year. Well, dang. You know what? Fine. I'll just do the sell-through rate. That'll be fine.
How's the lobster client doing? Also, that's another one people have been asking about.
Yeah, so that one's actually still going very, very, very well. The slight issue that I can't go into too much depth, but there is some financial loans and cash flow issues between Shopify and themselves. It's going very, very well. The problem is they just can't extract the cash in order to pay back the loan, because if they are late on the loan, then they lock up the cash that they're able to pull out. So it's like, hey, Shopify's like, we owe you 100 grand. And yeah, you owe us 50. And we're like, cool, give me the 100 grand, I'll give you 50. Like, to unlock that 50 grand, you got to give us 100, or to unlock that 100 grand, you got to give us 50 grand. It's like,
that's stupid.
So that's literally where we're in right now. So our NCAC has never looked cheaper because our ad spend's only like $500 a day. So it's definitely heavily reduced. We're usually spending like 60 and 80, but now we're only spending like 15. So yes, things are going good, but that actually is something we can talk about creative, because that actually is something that that we have like a slight issue with. So
this was the founders video though, right? That was the main one that was selling, like the founders video and the really good offer.
Yeah, the problem is like it worked well, but I have a few things that we can look at is in the Andromeda and Gem creative flow. But the thing that we've seen just consistently, and you can see this main campaign, unfortunately, when we look at the charts and we look at the amount spent and we look at the last like 30 days, you know, you're usually spending this much and now we're spending like that much. So we had to reduce write downs because the issue, but the cost to acquire first time customers is now into like the 45s and 50s rather than like the 200s or 300s and that kind of stuff during the slow periods here. So everything's coming back online, but as we're getting ready to ramp back up, we're having to reduce spend. So if we look at basically since the reduction, unfortunately, the 30th compared to the previous period, like we're looking fine. Like we reduced a whole bunch of ad spend, but because this is using signups, just because we killed off the lead generation portion doesn't mean the lead execution on the other end when the SMS gets sent out goes away. So we can still see that it's making, you know, a good amount of sales. It's just going to slowly start to decay here. Or actually, it's going to rapidly start to decay very soon down to a next level. So as of right now, we are stupid profitable because we hacked up all the ad spend, but the conversions are still coming in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that point. But in the creative standpoint, and you know what sucks is I'm still waiting for my creative fatigue chart to come back, and
it's been going away. I haven't seen it in all my accounts. I've seen it in like one or two, and then it goes away, and then it comes back. Yeah,
I think people are like starting to get kind of like halfway stupid with it. Like, that's what that means. And then they just stop like updating the creative. So I think they're like, your creative is not fatigued. And everyone's like, cool, no more ad copy. And Meta's like, like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but wrong implications.
Yeah. So what I basically started doing is I stopped like the boat tour. I paused, pack it up. Like I just basically started like hacking off everything that was not essentially getting any sort of ad spend, because we don't need to. We really can't even use it. So we're looking
forcing the concentration towards the founders video then.
Yeah, what's funny is I'm forcing the concentration to the highest hook rate. Realistically, is all I'm doing. And so hook rate is the first, not the only, and not the most important, but it is the first thing that we have to look at in saying, is the ad spend with the highest amount of activity the right campaign? And let me just turn off the segmentations or the comparisons so that I can sort this. But here's what I look at is 114,000, then it's like 5, then 4, then 3, then 1, then 500. Yes. The reason why is because you can sort of see how the hook rate Not exactly, obviously, as they are trends, but you can see that the further on down you go with ad spend, the further on down the hook rate goes, except for that one. Okay, we're not going to reshuffle the deck of 130K because for one time period, the 1300 did a little bit better than like the these up here. They're all sharing the same like 10 grand, and this one up here is just getting 10 times the spend. But for the most part, you can kind of see we want to have the highest amount of ad spend on the highest hook rate, the less ad spend on the less hook rate, the less ad spend on the less hook rate, the less ad spend on the less hook rate, because everyone's going to start here and then they're going to get remarketed everything here. Great. As long as what I'm capturing your attention, who's to say that Caden doesn't like that ad better and then John likes that ad better? It's not a global average of everyone. We just need to see kind of how the majority of users are engaging with it. And so I've kept the same ad spend for September, October, November, December into January static. And that's because a few things. One, the ad spend is still on the highest hook rate of 40%. This is actually a little bit higher. It's like 44%. The hold rate is 13% on a 33-second ad. The average on a 33-second ad hold rate is 8. So we're 50% higher than the average of hold rate, and we're 4% higher than the average of the best performing ads according to Meta. There is not a doubt in my mind, even when ad spend goes from basically a $2,000 a day down to like 200 a day, it's still working well. It's just at a lower ad spend. But
what's the ad per se, just for people that don't know?
Yeah, so this one, he basically pulls out a 2-pound block of lobster and says, this is a 2-pound block of lobster meat. So it takes 10 to 12 whole live lobsters, a pound each, to produce this. So he's explaining how much like you would have to buy 12 lobsters and you would have to like chop it up and freeze dry that kind of stuff. And that is going to cost X, blah, blah, blah. He goes, buy this and I will also give you 2 free lobster tails absolutely free. Just sign up. And basically it's like he's going through and just explaining what the lobster is. People really like that. It's only a 33-second ad. So he literally is such an accountant. His background is accounting. So he just said right there, it's a net yield of 20%. Who cares? Like really, like people don't care, but they do want to know the value. So what is this trying to portray? This is trying to portray value of what you're getting, and we're going to sweeten the deal. And people are like, okay, I love that. If you show me this ad and be like, hey, you're going to spend 100 G's on this thing, I'm like, you're stupid. No. But that's because I'm a data guy, not a creative guy. I'm not the person that is going to go to this. So that's the one thing that I do love is as you start to look at how your creative is performing, if 40% of the people stop on this and 1 out of 5 people make it to the end, yeah, let's continue to run it. Like there is nothing here that's going to tell me to stop doing it. Like we can even see that as we pause this ad, like these people are still converting. It has been running for months and it is going to continue to run for months, and I will not stop it. Why? Well, if we look at the total possible people, there's 320 million people in the United States. Do 20 million people like lobster? Yeah, I would say 20 million people like lobster. Cool. We've only hit basically 15% of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and the ad itself is super fast. It covers all the points. It covers the fact that he's the founder. People get a feel for the brand. They get the good offer. So that's why it's getting all the spend, because it's everything all in one that's like easily bite-sized.
Right. And
So
as long
that
as
makes total sense.
as long as you click and sign up for your free 2 lobster tails with your phone number, the ad's done. That's it. Like the whole reason why I'm okay running this one ad is because we have one objective. Now it's measuring new customer acquisition because I need to see what pops out the other side. But as long as also remember our benchmarking, if the main ad that has the highest amount of ad spend is worse than the average of total of the ad set, it means that all the remarketing is doing better, which means this is high quality here. I just have to share the CPA last click with this, and this, which means the further on down they go, now the further on down they go, the better to get. After step 1, they're cheaper. So it is cheaper to remarket and convert than it is to get the first click, conversion. So what does this sort of tell us? It says, yes, you want to capture their attention with a high amount of ad spend, and we stop the scroll and we buy the attention. That's step 1. If this step isn't functioning well, the rest of the asset dies. And Meta will try to reshuffle the deck, but there's nothing here telling Meta, hey, I really want 163. There's no cost cap. this 381 could be 781. Meta does not care. It could be 17,000. It could be 17 million. Meta does not care. It's simply due to the fact that I'm starting your journey in understanding my company, my value, my product, my freshness, and my offers. As long as I can get you to understand who we are and why we're here, the better the performance will be from everything else that I can create. So it's sort of like if you open the door and slap them in the face as soon as they walk into Walmart, they're probably going to have a bad shopping experience. More likely, probably turn around and leave. Now you have $50 billion worth of amazing creative and products right behind the door. But as soon as you walked in, I punched you in the face and you're never going to come back. I'm using that as a joke because people still don't quite sometimes understand this. So this right here is am I going to say, hello, my amazing customers who I love and dear so much, and I need you to be happy and fruitful with me. And I love, if that is not unbelievably amazing, the rest of this stuff just doesn't matter. So that's the big portion of like where your ad spend is going on, from how your ad spend starts to engage users from that kind of like first engagement. And that's super important that you have to get. Hey, if you like this video, we have a Skool Community where we have a few hundred members and we cover topics, everything from the basics to all the way to the like hyper crazy advanced stuff that's like coming out next month. So a few hundred members there. We go live twice a week, something with an hour-long education about something that is very relevant to the community that week, plus a weekly Q&A where you just get to come and bring us all of your problems and we solve them one at a time.
So I have a link below in the description if you want to join. And then obviously if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we can answer those for you. And we'll see you in there.